Okay, today is May 30th, 2026. It has been a long time since I've done an update on the property. So today it's looking so nice with all the rain that we've gotten. So we are going to do an update. So here is my pond. It is nice and full. Let's go take a look. Normally it'll drop, you see, further than those trees. That's usually where the pond line is. But when we get a lot of rain, it goes all the way up here. But I think it's gonna dry up in the next month or so. That's typically how it is in Texas. We get lots and lots of rain and then it'll stop. So everything is looking beautiful and green. My trees are doing amazing. I just started to mow around here so I can get in and out easily. But I will need to start mowing around the trees and mulch it in anticipation of the dry weather. So let's go and take a look. Man, the trees are looking so nice. Even my asparagus are just doing amazing. Look at this. I don't know how these asparagus live all these years, but they survived through drought and still here. The thing with asparagus is they can go very, very long without water because they have deep roots down there, but they won't grow very fast. So these are, I think, 3 or 4 years old. I mean, not bad because look at this. Look at the size of that. But it's easy, for the most part, they're around this thin. So growing without water is really tough for these guys, but if you grow them in good conditions, 3-4 years, they can get pretty big. But I'm still happy. You see these spears here and there. They're not ready because you don't want to harvest them yet. You want them to get large like those before you start to harvest. So let them grow underneath and become strong, and then they'll produce for a long time. So anyway, the grass is overgrown. Some of the trees didn't make it. This one is barely hanging on. I started to test with asparagus, but radishes. Look at that, guys. Look at this. Radishes are great to kind of like condition the soil because they grow very well, and they'll fix the soil for you as well. So that's good. My persimmon tree is barely hanging on. So here are some pears. And these pears are, this is the second year, I think. Amazing. It's still doing pretty good. This is the Korean giant. So we're just gonna let them grow. We had really bad diseases out here because there's like cedar and juniper cedars or whatever. Anyway, they're all around here, everywhere. So the diseases pass on to the trees if you don't spray. And so I don't really spray, so I get diseases all the time. So I'll show you when we get there. I get rust, a lot of them. And here are all the weeds. Man, these cone flowers are really pretty. And they grow during the summertime. Look at all those. They're just so gorgeous. I hate to cut these down, but I need to get around. You see how those are my trees, other trees, and then they cover up to my waist. So those are gonna be cut down, and I'm gonna mulch around the trees like this here. And I find that this has helped so much over the years. Look at that. See, I mulched them really well, and it helped these trees survive long periods without water. This is my peach tree here. This is a rose princess, nectarine, sorry. I don't know if they need a pollinator or it's just not ready, but man, this thing's put out a lot of flowers, but none of them stick. So no fruits, no nothing. There are my pears right there. I think that's a Korean giant also. I have some persimmons that didn't make it. Persimmons are usually pretty tough, but they're tough only when they're established. When you first plant them, it takes them a while, like 2 years before they become hardy enough to withstand the temperatures we have. So that chocolate persimmons there, I have two. They didn't make it. So I think that's a Hosui. I mean, Korean giants are really tough, guys. I've planted a few, and the first one I planted over there, it's probably like 4 years old, somewhere over there. I trimmed it pretty well, that one. And so I found that they are really tough, so I bought more. So here's the Korean giant. I have a few more Korean giants. I find they grow really well, but they're susceptible to rust and also blight. That's the problem. And then I added the Orient Pear. Man, Orient Pear are really tough. They grow really well. I think they get rust as well, so that's a problem. With rust, I have to spray. If not, all my pears would get them. So this is my peach. This is the donut peach. I've gotten lots of fruits out of this one. For some reason this year, no fruits, and it actually grew better than last year. But that's good because I really want this to focus on growing. I saw a wasp nest right here, guys, so I'm not gonna go through here. But yeah, that is a really tough variety. I'm not sure what the root stock is, but I know that the donut peach was grafted on. Whatever the root stock is, it's pretty tough, and it's been doing very, very well over the years. Okay, so we talked about persimmons earlier. This one here is a giant Fuyu, and man, this guy lived through the drought. Very surprised. I thought it was gonna die, but it didn't. And look at that fruit. I really want to take those fruits off because I really want the trees to grow. And also, even if the persimmons ripen up and stuff like that, probably the animals will get it to it before I will. So I may just pull those off. But I really want to see what the fruits look like. That's the thing. So here's my other pear. This is a Shinko pear. Shinko pears are great. They're good against blight. I did graft a few things on there, but even though they're good against blight, they still get rust, and I got rust last year, and I treated them, pulled the leaves off, spray a little bit. I just don't spray enough because I don't come out here enough times to, treat them all the time. So here's the Korean giants that I mentioned, and this one is really tough. So it's been here, I think 4 years already, I think. And man, it's doing great. See, this year no rust because I treated it last year. I sprayed it also earlier this year, so that may have helped a little bit. And this is the Orient Pear right here. This is one of the fastest growing trees that I've grown of the pear variety. These things grow like crazy. I'm not sure any other pears grow this fast, but man, if you want a fast growing pear, it's called the Orient Pear. It's just a variety. It's not an Asian pear, I don't think. It's called Orient. But look at that. It's pretty also, you see. The leaves are nice and waxy, and it's pretty thick. It grows like crazy. Look at that fruit right here. So we got one that's stick. I think they self-pollinate. So if you grow this one, make sure you look it up. It should self-pollinate, and you will get fruit with just one tree. And here is my Jujube. I've grown a few varieties: the Lee, the Lang, GA966, the Chantilly, and all that stuff. But this one seems to be the one that just did the best out of all of them. I think this is the Lee. Sorry, this is the Lang variety. And the Lang, they're not really good tasting, but they're larger, but they're tough as heck. So you see all of these fruits here. Also, they're self-fertile, so they produce without having a second tree. And you see the fruits. So I've gotten fruits from this tree last year, and I will get a lot of fruits from this tree again this year. There's just flowers everywhere, fruits everywhere. They're small right now, but you can see them. See? So that's what they look like. But there's tons and tons of fruits on here. But again, that is the toughest variety of all the ones that I just mentioned. Everything else seems to struggle, and this one, I'm not sure. Maybe it's just gotten a good spot. But I've grew the other ones next to it, and it just didn't do too well. Okay, so here is the GA866. It is dead. And then we have this one here. What is this one? Lost the label. But it's growing, thankfully. I really want these things to grow because I like them a lot. These are wild. I'm not sure if they're wild persimmons or whatever, but they look pretty, and also they give a little bit shade over here. I cut them down over the years, but then I felt bad, so I let them grow back. So it's gonna give a little shade here, so the soil won't dry up so badly. And there's my sugar cane or something. Those are dead. So let's go look at my grafted apple. Oh, forgot about this one. This here is a Keiffer. So Keiffer, look at this, guys. This is what I'm talking about. You see these here? The diseases, look at that. These are rust. And this Keiffer suffered multiple years in a row. Look at it, see that? These rust, they usually form in the springtime. So if you want these to not happen, you have to spray them with the copper fungicide early in the spring multiple times, and it will help prevent these. But if you miss the period, you're gonna get these. And so you see the spores, so they eventually form spores, and they will fly off into other trees like junipers and cedar and stuff like that, and then the cycle starts back again the following year, affecting other trees. So yeah, that's rust. It's a big problem. It can get on the fruits and all that stuff, and just it kills all the fruits. And before we look at the apple, look at this, guys. We have these berries. These are so delicious. The wild ones taste amazing. They have this nice tangy taste to it, and they produce like crazy. So I have one bush here that I didn't cut down, and look at that, guys. Tons and tons of berries. Sometimes I come here with a cup, like a fountain cup, and I'll pick a whole cup full of these and take home. Okay, so here is my apple tree. I just cleared this area. It was so overgrown. You see this here? Look at that. It's up to my waist. So anyway, this is the apple tree that I grew from a seed, and then I grafted other varieties onto it. Check this out. This is a graft right here, and that one's doing good. And I have a graft right here. You can even see it. See, it's the different color, but also the union is right there. The tag is somewhere, but that's good right there. And I have another graft over here. So here's another graft right there, and that one's doing good. And so these little branches in the middle here, they're just the original rootstock. So they I'm gonna train him so he can grow out. But that is a really interesting apple tree. I'll be grafting more onto this. The one apple tree I have at home, I have like 15 varieties on it, and it's really cool because there's late season varieties and early season varieties. So my trees are flowering, you know, from April all the way up into now. So they still have flowers right now. Maybe in July there's still some flowers, and so the fruits just goes in that order as well. So hopefully I'll get fruits for a long time. So that there is my pride and joy. I love this apple tree, so hopefully it will make it. It's also a test to see how tough that is. So there we have it, guys. Those are all the fruit trees that lived or survived over the years. So I know for sure that pears, like the Korean giants, are really tough. Shinkos will work. Orient Pear, peaches will work here. Apples is tough because I planted a few apple trees and they won't make it. The ones like, you know, like red delicious, golden delicious and stuff like that, I don't think they make it out here. I planted a few and they just keep dying. So there's a Yali Pear that seems to be pretty tough. So I'll list some of the varieties below in the description. That way you can see what I've been testing with and know for sure that they are tough. So anyway, that is all for the video. I'll show you a 360 view of how beautiful today is. And my fruit is just this middle section that I divide up. The rest are just pasture for the cows. And the sound you hear are boats. The lake is that way over the trees. Okay, thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.